Fire, what you saying?
Yes, I give thanks to life, Autarchii.
Serious thing. We are here again, Ballhead and the Dread. And I want to say, we really give thanks for everyone been supporting the thing from those times till now. Streaming the podcast, downloading the podcast, sharing the podcast. We ask that if you have time, we really would appreciate if you could leave some reviews on these different platforms or the platform that you utilize. Also, remember music from Autarchii, aka the Dread. Link is in the description. Make sure you check us out every Sunday, spinning roots rock reggae music from 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000 on WLOI.org. I Never Knew Radio. Also, give thanks for all the support at Conscious T. I have been getting the emails and we are restocking. John Henry Clark shirt has been ordered. So I'll put that up and let you guys know how to get it. All right, what we're reading about today.
Yes, I. The reason I cut deep for liver people, I know it. Because it's a personal. So, I want to know a reason about being a vegetarian slash vegan in a italist in this holiday season. And, I also have to deal with certain compromises where one have to make throughout them particular holidays, you have to come down to the level of the common individuality,
All right, so this reasoning here, as far as stated, does touch on a personal level because anyone who has transitioned in regards to how they view the world and how they live have experienced this. If you haven't experienced it, I guess your significant other has transitioned with you, right? So, first thing I want to touch on is the family issue when it comes to the holidays. That is a very, very big thing. We're not even going to get to the eating yet, far right. We just get into the holiday season. And what I've learned from my experience, and speaking of ones, is that people are acceptable of people are pretty acceptable of your political views and also your eating habits, fire. But I don't know what happens during holiday season, fire. It don't work. I've seen many people just put up the tree, put up the things on the tree because of the pressure in the house, right? I am fortunate enough. I can speak for myself. I can't speak for the next man. I am fortunate enough to where my lady accepts and we have a common understanding of how we're going to approach the holiday seasons. So I will say that I haven't experienced the pressure that other people have felt. But there is a certain compromise I had to do specifically with Christmas. Thanksgiving is just whatever, right? In regards to Christmas, my wife usually wants to go to her parents' house who celebrate Christmas. Now, in their defense, they don't celebrate it from a it's not really no great vibe like deep with Santa Claus. I guess it's just tradition. Black people, it's just a tradition, right? They buy the child gifts. They don't buy a lot of gifts. They may buy one or two gifts. Now, initially, when the child was a newborn, they were buying gifts, right? And I was very fiery. I was very fiery. I had a big issue with it. But then now, as I've matured and we have grown together as a family, I've it doesn't bother me, and I'll say why, right? One, we don't celebrate Christmas. There's no uh Christmas paraphernalia in the house. She doesn't get gifts for Christmas. In regards to the parents aspect, there is a conversation that I've had with my daughter and continue to have in regards to explaining the context of things, right? I let her know that obviously this is not, she understands the history of Christmas. She understands that there's no Santa Claus coming down the chimney giving her the gifts. She clearly understands that the gifts are given from the parents. And even though I don't believe in Christmas, they are giving you a gift and you accept it, right? The parents don't try to the grandparents don't try to indoctrinate it with any Christian stories or anything like that. So within that context, I think that's the compromise that I have done, right? The gift is coming from outside the house. Initially, now with other things, I had to tone down. Even with birthdays, this is just from a consumer aspect. People buying stuff she doesn't need. I had to really cut that one and tone that down because it was giving her messages that she didn't need, and she ended up with a bunch of stuff that she wasn't using. But in regards to the Christmas, no one else gives a Christmas gifts that I'm aware of. Maybe my mother. My mother's in Jamaica, so maybe I don't know. Once in a while, she'll send something. So that's the compromise that I have made in regards to her receiving a gift outside of the house. Right now, many men are not even on that point. The rush is inside the house now. The rush is for the lady next to him. And since I haven't dealt with that type of pressure, I don't know how valid my advice is, but from speaking to people, I only can speak on what I've heard. And it seems that I'm not generalizing women. I'm just saying that the people I've experienced, it seems that they have an idea almost that the child is being suppressed from an experience, and they're not understanding why the men choose not to celebrate Christmas. I don't think they understand the political aspect of it and even the conscientious aspect of it, where they clearly understand what's taking place and they don't want to partake from partaking in the European culture. Also, but the consumerism of Christmas is also, we spoke about that in the past, where that is prime time for people to spend money that they don't have and to accumulate debt. 'Cause I think the process is, from what I always is that money is spent on Thanksgiving that you don't have. You try to get whatever you can on the Black Friday, spend what you don't have on Christmas, and you try to utilize the tax return to take care of the bills that were accumulated in November. I think that's like the basic process for the average person, right? If I'm correct. Now, unfortunately, for what I always, right? And I'm not trying to say I'm better than anyone. I just don't do that process. It seems that the plan doesn't really work out because with life and other bills come to play, the tax is not enough to take care of what was done during Christmas, or that money needs to be used for other things for survival. And we have unnecessary financial problems. And I think that's why a lot of men, like, it's not to suppress the children, it's not to just be ignorant and militant. It's the fact that these holidays are not good in development of the child. Like, if you're gonna do Kwanzaa, something that's different, has that whole African context. Yes, but the Christmas vibe is a commercial holiday, and you shouldn't be teaching children commercialism. And also, a lot of these children are undeserving of gifts because they haven't done anything all year. They're not doing good in school. They're not behaving properly. So I don't see the benefit of you showering this child with gifts, right? So far, right, you can speak on your experience in regards to that, having that type of pressure, that type of pressure
I,
in the household.
I also personally been under pressure still. Look at, all right, the way all my mindset work is that if me feel like say something go against my political grain, I'm not gonna work with it. I tell you the truth. I'm not gonna work with anything that go against my political grain or my political ideology. But give thanks, say me no pressure in the way they need. I have nobody run me with pressure me the way they need, because I realize that whenever it comes to compromise around a holiday season, it always have to be the politically conscious individual who have to make the compromise. The compromise never make from the person who already assimilate towards the societal norms, you know. Because if you think about it, you know, the person who assimilated the societal norms, them have the more upper hand for get what them want. But it's a person with a political ideology, you know, who seem as strange, like it's strange. You know, everybody do this. Why you not do this? Why you not do this? And why you blighting the youth future? Because think about it enough for you. When you are teach a youth a political concept, you know, and a teach a youth consciousness, you know, and a teacher educate a youth the right way, you know, I mean, you're the one thing. So you enhance them future. But when it comes to the holiday thing now, being the politically conscious person is like you're blighting a youth future, because apparently towards the way our society pre a youth future is being brightened and being better and make them more pleasant when them buy items to please themselves, when them can celebrate in all of the festivities will take place, not realizing say there's another side to it where them parents can tell us, all right, oh, you know, so I only have $10,000 or I only have $1,000, and the $1,000 we may have right now, even though the light bill not pay, me I gotta make sure some buy a little toy for Jimmy or whoever, but the child have to buy a little toy or buy a little gift for the child, even with the $1,000, knowing say the light might cut off after that, or the water bill might not pay. So is the concept that the people them start giving to when it come to the holiday season. So the politically conscious person always seem like the little weirdo and the person who are broke the vibe, so to speak, because I say it always come off, you know. And I get to realize over the years, it's a thing where as a conscious person, you have to really know what you want to do. And even if, because remember, you know, majority of the reality of the world is that in the socio-economic status where most of our family them are employees for an employer. And being employees, them have the same similar time off them because these holiday periods are general time off. So most of them now, what them accredited to is the fact that, all right, even if you not celebrate it, man, come over and even though the turkey up on the table for the Thanksgiving and a Christmas thing and all of these things, make sure you come over and be a part of this whole thing because the only time where the family get for celebrate something and you need to be a part of it. And if you not be a part of it, then you're like a person who are trying to stop the progress of the thing. So is this now you really kind of find the conflicting lines them kind of come into play now. And I feel like say one thing where a whole heap of family can do for go around that is don't wait for the holiday for come together because check levels fire. Majority the way I would sit at the 9 to 5 run, majority of people off on weekends. How come they never collectively organize something for 1 weekend and say, make we have a family dinner then for 1 weekend then upon a norm. But so that may I try to show them now, say, me as I show them, say, all right, see, when you don't do that, that simply means say is not just a follow a societal trend or a trend tradition, I want to say, not knowing the meaning of the tradition, but make it seem like it's family is the topic. No, it's not family. A consumerism is the main thing. And assimilating to a European culture is the main thing. But you now see it from this because Chewy is not a conscious person that they like there. So I'm not bash now one thing, you know. Mongla show them say that I take place, but you just and it's just an unconscious wish fulfillment as them would want to call it. Then you see me as it.
No, reality, man, it's fine. You brought up a great point I wanted to touch on later, but you touched on it early in regards to why can't there be a proactive approach? Because what happens a lot of times, people say they're not really celebrating the holiday, but you really are. If you're doing it within that day, within that time, how can you deny and say you're not celebrating the holiday? If you wanted to unite, I'm pretty sure with minimal preparation, that'd be no great thing. Yeah, you may not have family members from flying across the country, but you can have a gathering if you want that family vibe and you want to break bread with your brother and sister, right? Another thing I wanted to touch on before we move to the next part of it is that pressure from your peers, right? Social media again. Uh, you know, posting pictures with 1,000 people in the house that you don't even talk. That's the wild part too. You're hanging around people you don't even talk to far right. Or you're hanging around people that's just in pure conflict and pure gossiping. That's the weird aspect of it, right? But also, it's like this is this yearning to show that you were doing this thing, and like we need to get back to doing stuff for the sake of doing stuff and not doing stuff for the sake of attention. I think holidays really highlight that in the sense that you just want to be a part. What's the thing I saw recently now? Maction, um, like Maction nightwear, Maction. I don't know. Like everybody's wearing the same Maction thing. I got a lot of pictures from people. That's the thing now. Like you take these pictures and like, all right, that's 5 outfits you're gonna buy to wear one day, or I guess for the picture, and it's just like, why? Something to consider. Next part I want to move on in regards to surviving holidays, right? After after your family situation. Make sure you bring food for don't set yourself up and go up there on some old. No, don't do it to yourself. I've learned from listen. I learned from experience. I've been doing this since 2013. I'm a man when I move with food. I make sure I eat before I go. And if it's someplace I have to stay overnight, I camp out and see what's accessible. I bring a pot. I used to be on the ice where I used to bring my blenders. Right. No, real talking. I want to say, even though this look away, this little thing, because I had the juice, these things here is a game changer, right? If you know you gotta go to a family member house for like a week or something, blend up a whole heap of juice, your different type of juices, freeze those, take those, and just have them. At least that's done where you can get certain nutrients and make different type of juices. Then after that, now you may have to hot up a pot when you're there, or you may just have to bring a pot. But listen to me: do not leave your house without a strategy on how you're gonna fill your belly, because you have to remember that. My mother's a great example of this, right? To this day, she'll say, this is crazy, right? So I'm like, yo, I'm coming down to Jamaica. My spot used to be Pork Pit, in Montego Bay. I don't know if you passed it. It's on whatever, right? That spot I used to go to years ago. Sunfest, burn herb, drink, get us go to Pork Pit, right? She's like, yo, you're not gonna eat no jerk chicken. Yo, she's like, yo. She said, when you come down, you're not gonna eat no jerk chicken, right? But remember, I'm like, bro, but could she say you on vacation? So she take this thing as like it's some little fat or something, not understanding this out. You get what I'm saying? Like, even though you've been doing it for this time, it's always like, It's like you could take a break from it, or when you're on vacation now, everything you've been doing, you could not do it. But it's not to criticize, but when you over people's mind frame, right? So most people, what I understand is that because they themselves haven't done something, just done it, like they just do it, they can't comprehend you do it now. They probably think it's some show, or maybe you do that in the house, but maybe you do it in public, but you don't do it in the house, or because this is a holiday, there's an exception and this and that. So I said all that to say is that when you go to people's house, right, what they consider vegetarian and what you consider vegan fire, they don't have the same mind frame. So a man may tell you, say, yo, I heard you vegan, right? Because it's always a defense, even though you don't say anything. Because the last part I'm gonna talk about why you shouldn't speak about your tribe. When you go there, first of all, people are gonna be offended, right? They're gonna say, oh, first thing they're gonna tell you is their story about what happened, right? Yeah, man, I tried that for 3 months. Tried that for a couple weeks. I can't do it. It's crazy. I don't know how you do it. You never asked them nothing. I'm there sitting quiet. I never said nothing about nothing, right? All right. Once you get past that point, now someone's gonna offer you food. And in my experience, this is the wildest thing. Listen, some of you probably experienced so you can relate. I've had a person offer me beef stew with vegetables, right? So I said, I'm like, right? So white people just took out the yeah, mankind, not kind, yo. The stuff you experience from people, yo, my people just took out the beef. Just making me boil of vegetables, right? So in their mind now, it's not they not even consider the thing been boiling the beef for the last 10 hours or 5 hours, how long they ever cook the stew, and they just figure say it's just vegetables. So with all that said, you gotta come prepared, right? And don't feel no way and just tell people, say, yo, you have your food. Yeah, maybe a couple uncomfortable conversations in regards to saying, yo, no, I'm good. I'm full, or I ate before you guys started, and just chill. um but I do recommend, listen, serious thing. If you can get these things, I know it's a little chucka chucka because I just drink the juice. These things here, freeze on fire, even in your weekly thing, because this is how I really change the game. Because I have my glass thing where I make this drink with bananas, maca powder, ashwagandha, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, dates, hemp seeds. But I put it in a glass. But most of my fruit drinks, I make more and I freeze them, right? And it saves a lot of time and it freezes good. You just thaw it. But take these on the road with you. As I said, if it's not a far place, take a decent pot to get you through a couple of days. Also, scope out the scenes because I notice a lot of plant-based restaurants are open on the holidays. So make sure you go on your different websites to see what's available. But you have to be proactive and prepared because the hungry thing not gonna work. And one more thing I want to say, you have to avoid the desserts because even if they do make a dessert, the sugar content is wild. Like it's just beyond wild. Vegan or not vegan, right? The sugar thing is a no go. But with regular desserts now, you have to understand like a lot of butter, a lot of milk, and all these things. And like you just need to hold your corners. And if you want the dessert or you want the sugar vibe, get something that that's reasonable for your body where it's not overload. Because you have to forget a lot of people don't understand what they put in their body. They don't care what they're putting in their body. And because you do, you have to make sure it's not, you can't go someplace and just mess up everything. And not saying mess up everything, but throw off your whole thing. Because if you're on a certain regimen like I am, you just want to stay in that pocket and do your thing. But I highly recommend that you are prepared when you leave your house for the battlefield with this food fire because ain't nothing gonna be there for you to eat. Nothing gonna be there
Yeah,
for you to
man.
eat. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, listen to the I'll be laugh, I laugh because it's a funny thing. It's a funny thing, when people say they might include you, but still them exclude you. Because that is what happen in a family, different family gathering when it comes to certain things. That's why I'm sure you already say if it's against the political grain and you follow the trend, so to speak, just because they want to make sure you fit in and being ostracize yourself. Yeah, I got face all heap of little obstacles because remember, enough time some people see me and like and them type of thing, they will say, all right, bam, I go check out a thing because we don't want to one feel no way. But then when you check it out now, and even the food time come for true, and I wanna tell you, say, all right, yeah, man, we have salad, because apparently, apparently the average person, no, you see the average person, your average family, average person, anybody them not really overstand we are vegetarian eat at all because them things a salad is the go-to thing for a vegetarian. But imagine a feed pan salad, a feed pan salad. what type of benefit that get you. You see me I say, and so when they say the thing about the whole beef thing, it's funny because remember going to some farmer event like that through some holiday season already, and I want to have something with milk in it. And I want to say, no, man, no watch the milk, man. I tell you, say, no, man, mostly vegetable, I just little milk in it. So I say, wait. I want to them overstand, say, when you say ital and when you say straight vegetarian vibes, you're not dealing with meat. I want them overstand, say, there is no farmer byproduct or no. But I get for realize, say, sometimes them overstand, I'm going to tell you the truth, Sometimes them overstand, but them not care. They not care because remember again, so you see, remember when I just start, I said the only person who have to compromise is the politically conscious person, Because you have to compromise and make sure say, but this is a norm, celebrate and partake in it. But you have to compromise even your own liberty. Because remember now, a man I go look on you and him knowing himself. It's not like him forget or anything. Him know say don't deal with this. But him still got offer you something outside of your thing. So him not only want you just compromise, him want you conform. And that is the thing. So majority of people want you conform when it comes to them holiday, whether it be through celebrating, whether it be through your eating habits, whether it be through your mindset. Because once you open up your mindset, I'm want to tell the people in this, as weird as it sounds, because I mean it sound like a stickler still, but as weird as it sounds, it's if you compromise your values and you compromise your thought process, and whatever wants you believe, the education where if you compromise that in one thing, you're going to start compromising other thing. As something that we ones and ones need to know, because the moment you start celebrating, because even with all this Halloween thing and them something that where most people not understand, And you see when you check enough of them pan them tell about the Mexican Day of the Dead and celebrate, but none of them not doing all of these things, because I'm realizing a lot of people like to find excuses. So, we're celebrating this because isn't this part of African thing? No, but them can't tell you. Not African conscious people, Them are Africans, yes, by them skin tone and all of this, but them not have the African consciousness in them, and them celebrate these things. And whenever you check them on it now or ask them a question about it now, them try to get some form of relation, but them can't sustain the relation because all them do is propagate European traditions while telling you, but it has some form of connection to Africa. What's the connection? I don't really know, but I know it has some form of connection to Africa, so it's okay to do it. Because that's the justification for all of these things, And then the consumerism part of it, where everybody just give into, and it becomes so normal enough for you. Don't you dare try to take people off our consumerism part, because people are going to tell you, say, we have one life to live. As what I say upon the reason, what the YOLO vibes, we have one life to live. You only live once. So let's not have a plan. Let's not have a strategy. Let's just do things be loosey-goosey and wild with certain things. And it doesn't matter what the outcome of it. The joy of the day is that we did get to have some fun. Boy, we did get to see some family around there, here and there to see him way. And that are the niceness. And we can take to a picture. And we can go back and say it was a successful day. Boy, some one of my family them yesterday, but what was the accomplishment of the family? Because if you realize certain things, certain family were there on a different type of hierarchical scale, when they meet to, it have a different meaning from when time most of I people meet, Because when I people meet, there's no real outcome of the meeting, I mean, if say like, every time we family meet, it have to be some form of political strategist meeting. No, but it have to have some form of aim towards it same way, because that's the thing. We're not setting an expectation for ourselves as a family. As a family, we only set expectation for ourselves on an individual level, and then when we come amongst family, it's either we're going to talk about some gossip, or we're going to go towards a certain level, or we're going to demoralize an individual or call them out. Because by fire, all right, you hear them talk about all of these little things, these groups that face oppression, and them come with them little thing, them alphabet movement and all of them people that way face oppression, which is a lie. We know that. But when it comes to oppression, nobody no face oppression like a man when I eat meat, I tell you that, a man when I eat meat face the most oppression, Because first thing every day a man I gotta tell you, say, boy, I'm skinny, I should not eat no meat. So you say every single thing will happen to you, it's just because you not eat meat, So a straight oppression, because you them not overstand the concept, and because them not have the discipline itself, it's almost like people attack you if you have the particular principle. And then when they see if you ever try that upon them now, it's a whole different story now, because when a man say skinny or him trim not eat meat, so me I say, oh, you fatty because you eat meat, it's a whole different thing, because that is offensive, but it's not supposed to offensive on the other end to say.
Fire right, and you streamline right into the last part I want to speak about with this reason in regards to, and I have to confess I did this early on when I was fired up, especially when I used to smoke a lot. I used to talk a lot. Not speaking about your eating habits at the table and not criticizing people. I would make little slide comments. I'm not gonna lie, or I would just kind of, in retrospect, it was the wrong time and the wrong environment to try to educate people on what they eat. So I wasn't gonna say at the table, say, "Oh, chicken, this and that." But if a man on the side, he would ask me. That's the thing. He would ask me, and I would answer the question. But now I would answer the question more on a lighter mode and more guide them in regards to if they wanted to pursue the information. Because I come to learn that it's a waste of my talking, because the person don't really want no information. Sometimes it's just small talk, right? Sometimes it's just. I notice sometimes people don't know what to say, especially if they're intimidated by you.
Majority of time a small talk. Majority.
It's just small talk. So what I do now is that, what I do recommend for people, right? Depending on what you had. So all my new plant based people out there, and the only reason I want to clarify too, only reason I use the word vegan is for the title. I don't even like the term vegan. I just more say plant based, so you tried or whatever you're dealing with. I don't like the category thing too tough. But for my people, especially my people fired up on nights, you know, when you new to something, you're fired up and you're glowing, and you know, tone it down. Don't talk about food at the table. Don't criticize people what they're eating. Don't give any recommendations. It's their time, right? You only have to be there for a short period of time and let them be, because your words are on deaf ears. I have found that nothing has been more offensive to people, especially from our people, than discipline, right? And when people see that you are committed to something, it just really offends them so much. Instead of being inspired, they're offended, right? I can speak about black people. I don't know about no next people, right? I'm talking about my experience with black people. And the eating thing, fire, it just seems like such an offense. You get what I'm saying? It's almost like you're behaving in a criminal manner. People are really like, and you can tell how it turns them off, or how the yeah, how it jabs at them. They just start talking to you about other stuff. Listen, if you tell a man you don't eat meat, or they find out you don't eat meat, if they find out you don't drink, that's the next thing. Everybody telling you about their story about how they drink or how they don't drink that much. And fire, where did this come from? I never asked nobody nothing. Fire, go do your thing. I'm here. I'm not disrupting. I'm not pressing nobody for what you're doing. And the smoking. But what I've noticed is that when I'm around, people tend to not drink. I don't say nothing fire, right? I don't know if it's out of respect or what they think. I don't know what it is, but people tend not to drink. People tend not to eat a lot of meat dishes. I know it's more a seafood or veggie vibe they on all of a sudden. So I don't know what it is, far right. But the thing is that when you're at the table, don't mention anything about food. Don't criticize people. And to gain respect. Now, if you're a newbie to this thing, right, don't expect everybody's going to accept you right away, because you will get a lot of criticism because you haven't demonstrated that you've done it for a long time. But after you've done it for a long time, people start to respect it. I know, like, especially with me, people don't say anything. They have a totally different approach. It may help because I do the stuff that I do, so I do promote it. But as an individual, people just like, we've been doing it for a time, so they just kind of really accept it and respect it in my certain position, except for little questions here and there about me eating jerk chicken and on holidays. But no, people seem to respect it. But you will notice, don't get offended by it. Once you go somewhere, people gonna tell you this story that you never asked, right? Man, I've been doing this, and it's always not being able to stay with it. I tried it, it didn't work, or it didn't work for me, or I couldn't do it. I don't know how you do it, and it's just like, one, I never asked for this conversation, and I just been doing it, just like you do anything else. I learned this different recipes. I'm always learning, I'm always growing. You're growing is like, just like you know how to barbecue chicken, or to like grill hamburgers. It's a skill that you learn and you get better at as you do it more and more. I figure out different ways, different things I can eat, different way to get all my nutrients, my macros, my proteins, you know, messing around with different spices, messing around with different juice blends. The juice blend is unlimited. So if you're a creative person, Fire, you gotta have unlimited fun with creating juices by using the same ingredients. That's the joke. By just modifying the amount of the same ingredients, you can make a limited amount of juices. So it's a vibe for creative people. But I do have to recommend you can avoid unnecessary conversations because it's falling on deaf ears. You don't have to explain yourself. Please don't criticize people. Let them be. You don't have to give them health tips in that context. It's they're enjoying their holiday, they're enjoying their family. Let them be. Far right. That's what I've learned to do. Right, because
Yeah, no,
I just let them be. You know.
you know, say my help tip them. Me always like my help tip them, you know, but my help tip them is a jokes, you know, because I'm tell you this. Me agree with everything what I say except one thing. That is, people will start accepting and respect you. No, me not agree with the part that them. Me agree with peace side 50%. Them are gonna respect you, but them not gonna accept it. So you see, it's a different stage, you know. All right, I'm gonna show you all the differences. It's almost a slight difference, though, you know. So when I'm on, all right, I'm show them why them respect you, but them don't accept you. I'm on, you see Autarchii and them say, yeah, but you know, the man are Rasta, man, and the man are Rasta, the man and eat meat and thing, you know. So him respect the discipline, him respect the principle, him respect the way how you approach your thing, and as we say, him respect the consistency to you towards your thing. But him not accept it, you know, because I'm still a dreary, you know. Them still a dreary a certain way, and I say, no, should the man a Rasta, man, them man not eat meat and them thing, you know, because the man don't know say meat not killing nor kill nobody, you know. So it's just some of the more subliminal you hear more people are showing us upon a certain aspect. So you know, so it's not an acceptance
All
vibes.
right, I gotta add one more comment. I apologize for cutting me. Another comment I heard from an elder recently. I was at a thing, right? I did a thing for some people there, like an old soccer team. Yeah, the Ital stew thing was sweet too, tell you the truth. You know what the elder told me? Because he had a fish at the stew. He said, Fire, he was like, I don't know about this eating thing too tough because we're going to drop dead anyway. Yeah? So the man said, yeah. So obviously, because I wasn't eating that, he was, I don't know what was the point of the comment, but I just had to throw that in. So you're right. True, true, true. Some little comments there.
Yeah, because my man, all right. So, I don't know what about human beings and this whole dead thing, you know, fair. Human beings obsessed with death, you know. All I hear them talk, you know, them could have been Christian from now till the morning. Well, the fact that them are Christian, them kind of obsessed with death because you have to dead forget accomplish what you want. But what me I say is fire, one's obsessed with this death thing fire because every time you try to show one a principle, or especially when it relates to food and run a collective, one tell us, oh, but we have to dead anyways. So it's like one's not obsessed with living, one's just obsessed with the concept of death. And is that me I show that I say no, say one's them gonna respect your thing, which is the ultimate still, you know, because you don't really need nobody to accept your thing, you know. But me just try to show one say one's not gonna necessarily accept you none at all. Probably your whole life, people, even if your family, your friends, so in a certain, especially in a social surrounding, but they know say for them live it in a state where them not ever accept your thing, but them are gonna respect your thing. So it's you know if you know say when time all a man now to keep yourself lively, because in mind of fire, if you are live a particular life, you're not supposed to get offended if I want to accept it, you know. So you're supposed to become stay jovial in your mission now. So it's when I mean, you know, they become like this prop and this thing, you know. Cause I like when them trouble me, you know, and tell me say, oh, I'm a Rasta and a Rasta, some meat and root. I tell him say, no man, go on, man. Remember say you are dead, you know. So just go and eat it same way. I have my little combat them for tell them same way. I feel jovial about it because I would say is you as a person who are politically conscious or a person who respect your body in a way that you say, all right, you're not gonna eat the meat and them thing regardless of the situation. You're supposed to know what you want from yourself, and you're supposed to keep your joy within your type of levity. And what I feel like say, yeah, I forgot give in to that. And as I say, if I convince the man say need to do that. You see, if you have one and two people who really, really interested in the way how you live and want to probably take a page out of your book. So when them ask you, your answer it same way, I can give them back the thing. But if you see a small talk, as they say, you can sidestep it same way, you know, because sidestepping the small talk a simple thing, you know, because me give them tip regardless, you know. So you want to catch it in a fire. Me I tell you the truth, you know. If them want to catch it and go probably follow one line. So give me a recipe, you know. You can't tell them a recipe because it's the simplest thing to tell them, but one thing more showing up for the people them fire. All of these, also all is done, all of these customs where we are cling on to, I feel like say, is a necessary custom where we have to indulge in, It's a whole life fire. It's an illusion and a trick where I trick with self. May I tell you that. But pull it same way from a year thing.
No, big time. And for all those out there, especially the men or women, because I don't want to leave out the women, but I've noticed it's been more the men in my experience. So I apologize if I did leave out the women. Women on the heights and the husband wants to do certain things. It is what it is. You got to figure out to make it work. For those of you who just have to attend family events and you don't deal with certain things, preparation is key. Don't put yourself out there for it because I'm not sure. Everybody can't deal with hunger because I've been places where it's just like, hey, I just got to deal with the water and just hold it till I find something, you know? And everybody can't do that. But a lot of times when you go to these places, there's literally nothing. I've been to so many parties, like parties, and there's nothing to eat. Barbecues, there's nothing to eat. So I eat before I go, or I'll just have something, you know. Um, I looked at one place. I didn't have time to eat before I went. They had the sparkling soda thing. So I was drinking sparkling. I was drinking sparkling soda the whole time, you know, because it wasn't nothing there, you know. But I advise that you really be proactive and make sure you have certain things available. If you do have to go somewhere for a certain amount of days, scope out the place, see what's available. If you got to hot up a pot there, do what you need to do to survive. You know, you can't sit there with the hunger thing. And also just low people, you know, and like your consistency is the greatest thing as far as setting clarified. People will the acceptance there is tricky. Some people accept you, some people will never accept you, but the respect is definitely there, and people respect consistency. They may not tell you there, but they pre in the thing. And the fact that the respect is there is the comments that they make, because it's just like, why do you feel propelled to tell me about your experience when I never asked you? I've never mentioned anything about food. I'm
But,
just
you know, say, so sorry for cut that. You know, say one thing we you just said a while ago, it add on to the whole acceptance reasoning. Anytime somebody right make a dish and separate the dish. All right. Me got a wedding already. See? Me got a wedding. Now Westmoreland same way. You see me I say? And when time I got a wedding fire, best believe say them have a pot of ackee. I tell ackee fire, cook up and season up, and them ask me the day before and say bam, and say the rasta thing this put aside fire. That is where it look like when somebody accept your thing and know say them accommodate your thing and put it one side, make them even put it far from the meat fire. And them know that and say the rasta thing if a man see it and say what is ackee? And I'm say, oh, you know, say the rasta run it, rasta not eat meat still. And the Rasta thing, them put the Rasta thing aside fire. That is what it look like when somebody accept your thing, them accommodate you rightfully.
but you know, far right, you know what I noticed too, man, in regards to like, all right, say if I have a function, right? All right, I have what's for myself, but also it's not. I'm not trying to indoctrinate nobody and pressure them with certain stuff. Yeah, I may have a dish to expose them, but most people not into it. It is what it is, right? But there's a commendation, as you said it back to the earlier reasoning. All the compromise is done on one side and not the other. Because how many events have I been to where I will say this though, I'm not gonna lie. I was at a barbecue, right? Same one with the sparkling water. So they said, yo, we got we got veggie burgers. They had Beyond Burgers, right? Which I haven't had a Beyond Burger yet. But the joke was it was cooked in the same area as the meat with the spatula, right? But then you gotta understand they're not even on that heights to over. It's like, yo, you really gotta separate the thing and all that. But nonetheless, I guess to a certain extent, because we have to remember the heights and understanding certain things in regards to cross contamination and all these things. They're not thinking about that. They just figure and say, hey, it's not meat, right? Slap it on there same way, same spatula and everything. And it's just like, you know, and people get offended by that too now because that's the next thing is like, yo, this thing too far because it's just, hey, man, like a simple thing, right? When I get fries, I get it from a place that doesn't have meat. All right. So I don't do a spot where it's like, because if they have the fries there, I really doubt a traditional restaurant is frying the fries in a separate batch of oil. I really doubt that's the case, right? And it's not even on some uh animal rights thing or it messes up my stomach. I had it happen before fire because whatever they're frying and I'm not used to eating, and when I put it in, it totally destroys my stomach. So when I do eat fries, I eat it at a spot where they don't have no meat in the facility, right? Now, with other people now, when they do have that cross contamination, they don't always like, yo, it's just, You're too picky, you're too militant, you do this and that. But then it's just like I have a certain discipline, and this is how I move. I can experience this at the school, right? The school I work at. Many people just like kind of like why you don't eat this, why you don't eat that, and just and here just one more thing I want to clarify. All vegan items are not made the same. So a person may say like, they may have vegan fast food, like they may have some vegan eggs or something. I don't know what it is. I'm not eating that. I don't eat these things. I don't know what it is, or some certain little super processed things. Then when you don't eat that now, it's like, what do you eat? But you know me, I'm not a man that look like I'm dying. You get what I'm saying? So obviously I'm eating, I work out, this and that. So, but they can't understand the level of discipline that you have. I think that's more the issue, that we can't even criticize them, that they don't understand the level of discipline, commitment that you have for a particular thing. Because remember, when you move like this, fight, you just can't go anywhere and eat. You know that already. And a lot of times you just have to do without till you get somewhere. It is what it is. Any man that eat a certain way know a lot of times you just got to do without, because there's nothing there to eat. It's just nothing there to eat. And you just get used to it. You know what I'm saying? And you get used to it and know how to move and this and that. So, Fire, I'm not sure if you want to touch on something else, but those are basically like the three topics I want to let people know in regards to figuring out a compromise with your family that works. Bringing food, that's like the most important part, especially for my single people, or you have to go to, you got to bring food, Fire. You're going to find yourself in a real judgment and so a real hunger battle. So white squall. Because ain't going to be nothing near to you unless you're just going to start eating what they eat. One more thing I want to give them. Early on in the trial, right? I was still eating yams because I didn't know, ignorance. I didn't know fully what was in sweet potatoes, Black American sweet potatoes. And when the lady broke down how they make these things, right, I've never eaten them since. So for those of you unaware, uh, soul food, sweet potatoes is yams, right? But they're layered with butter, and it's like a clear syrup they use. Man, I don't
I
know. It's like
milk the night, man.
milk, but it's a clear syrup, far right, like a little high grade syrup, and it's different types of sugar. It's not one type of sugar. Right? So I just want to say, sugar not vegan. If I ain't no health in sugar, I think that's the idea. People had this
No, man,
idea.
sugar vegan, sugar na Italian mean.
Listen, people
Vegan na
had
mean healthy,
that's where I'm getting at. People had this idea because it's a vegan dessert, somehow it's beneficial to your body, and it's just sugar is sugar. I just want to clarify. Yes, it may not have no milk, it may have no this and that, but it got the sugar, right? So I just want to let people know. But good luck to everyone this season. You have to go out there and different. Hey, fire people out there struggling. People have a hard time, whether it's pressure for finances, what they want to do with their kids in regards to decisions, what they celebrate, especially with the eating. And if you are of the age where you can prepare food on your own, I advise you need to take some. Stews are very good because they're very filling, right? They're very mobile, easy to warm up, and also you can make a pot that can last basically your whole trip. Blend up some smoothies. I get these online. Blend up your drinks before, freeze them, take them, and you have to be proactive, because if you don't, fight, it's gonna be a rough holiday season, yeah. Because I don't deal with hunger. Don't get it twisted, yeah. Don't get me wrong. I don't eat up the place like the next man, but at the same time, I don't deal with hunger, you know. So we give thanks for the reason. Make sure you support Far Idea Music in the description. EP out, disrupting the status quo. Make sure you check us out, Conscious T. Give thanks for everyone been supporting there. Check out New Reasons here. I Never Knew TV. Enough Reasons, brand new reasons. We have a short documentary we're working on that should be available soon. History of the Mesh Marina. Very informative, right? Jamaica's greatest shirt. And if you want to hear some roots rock reggae music, make sure you tune in I Never Knew Radio with yours truly, Junior, aka the Ballhead, on WLOI.org. We are playing roots rock reggae music, lovers rock, rock steady from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000. All right, so make sure you tune in.
Well, let me hear you say mountain.